Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Nick. I am a co-founder at Dial Technologies, and today we're going to be building a live workflow to show you how you can set up custom status gates. All right, so to jump in here, I have an existing workflow that we're going to end up building, but I just wanted to walk through this workflow. And so this is the deal required fields workflow here. And I'm just going to zoom out here a little bit, fit to view. And so the trigger here is when a record is updated. And so we have a deals object here, and this is going to look at the deal stage. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to filter out to make sure that the stage is in 1, which is effectively the stage we're trying to gate, or the status we're trying to gate. And then we have a switch here. So by default, we're going to celebrate with confetti, and then we're going to add them to our customer success list. And then we have condition 1 and condition 2. And so condition 1 here, we are going to be filtering based off of if they have added a deal amount, because that is essentially a required field, which is why we're gating the closed status. And then the other condition here is they must have an associated company. You can set up a workflow here to say a deal has to have an associated company and or a associated person. And, sometimes that is, what the point of the deals object is. So that way you can associate to company or to person. We personally associate deals to company and not to the person. So that is why we have chosen here to only have associated company. So let's start a new workflow. I guess first thing I will show you is if we go into deals, we're going to just create a new deal in lead. We'll say Attio workflow example. Lead, the deal owner is myself. Deal value will leave empty. Associated company we'll also leave empty. And I will create this and we'll show here. So we will use this as our example. And just want to go to customer success and show you that in trial here we have, these two items, but the deal that we just created, obviously there is no company associated and that is not showing up here. So we will create a fake Acme company for an example, but I'll show you that in that workflow that we build, this will show up here. So we'll go to workflows, we'll create a new workflow, and here we will name the workflow and we will call this custom status gate for 1. And first things first, we will set a trigger, which is a record is updated. We're going to select the deals object, and then we will select a specific attribute, which is the deal stage attribute, because that is where the 1 status is sitting. The next thing we will have is a filter. So we can search filter here. And for the filter, we will add a condition where the new value is 1. And so this is basically saying I only want to filter if records are updated. I only want to essentially filter through where the new value is 1, meaning if a deal is moved into the 1 status, this workflow will run. And then the next item that I'm going to have here is the switch. And so a switch is similar to a if else, but a switch can run multiple conditions. And so here I will do a default path, which is to update or add a record to a list. And then the second step we will do is a celebration with confetti for all users. And then the add record to a list, what we're going to do is we're going to add them to the customer success list. Yes, I want to give this workflow access to that list. And then the specific record we're going to do is not the updated record, because this is the deal. We want to update the company, the associated company, and add them to that list. And that's the only thing you can obviously select other attributes here, but that's the only thing we're going to have there. And then for the condition 1, we are going to have a new block here, which is going to be a update record. And so what we're going to do here is update the deals record. We're going to select the updated record, and then the attribute we want to revert essentially is the deal stage. And then we're going to do the previous value. So basically what this is going to do is if this condition runs, it's going to revert the change that was just made. And so if I click in onto the condition here, condition 1, we can add the filter here. So if the updated records deal value is empty, then we are going to run this condition. And so then we want to add a broadcast message. All right, we are going to do a broadcast message. We will select warning. The target is going to be a specific user. The user is going to be whoever updated the original record. All right, we will add the title here. And so the title we will use is deal requirements not satisfied. The description that we will use is deal must have a deal amount. And that is because the condition that we are using here is deal value is, maybe I'll change this to deal value. Duration 5 seconds, that is great. And then we will add another filter here for condition 2, which is the updated record associated company is empty. And that is for condition 2. So for here, we will have condition 2. We will select a block and we will do update a record. The record we are updating is the deals object, and the record we're going to update is the updated record. Attribute will be the deal stage, and we are going to move it back to the previous value, which is the previous status. And again, we will have a broadcast message here. The broadcast message is going to be a warning. It will target the specific user. So this is the exact same setup that we previously had. So targeted user is updated by. The title is going to be, again, the deal requirement not satisfied. And the description will be deal must have an associated company. Duration 5 seconds, that is good. All right, and so now we have this set up. Let me just check. We've got that in there, default, cool. So I will now publish this workflow. All right, so this workflow is published. And so now I'm going to just flip over to a deal. So we have 0 runs here right now. So I'll flip over to this deal. We have this Attio workflow example. So if I take this and drag this into 1, that should run. I should see an alert up here, deal requirement not satisfied, deal must have a deal value, and then you see that it moved back here. So if I go back to this workflow and go to the custom gate status, you'll see if I refresh, there should be a run. You'll see there's a run here. There's actually 2 runs. So the first run was effectively the run that, happened. The second run was actually when the automation changed the status back and then it filtered out. And so that's why we have this filter here, because this filter is looking to see if the status is 1. And because this workflow that we, effectively ran changed the status back to the original status, which in this case was lead, we didn't want it to run again. And so obviously that's why it got filtered and why we have the filter there. If I add a deal value here, let's say $100, and then now I click and drag this into 1. Again, because we do not have an associated company, we should get an alert here. We do not have an associated company. That should move back as it did. And if we go to customer success, you will see there is, no new item here added to trial. So now I will add Dialed Technologies as a company here, and then I will move this to 1. You should not see a alert, and you should see confetti, which you can see here. And then if we also go to customer success, we should now see Dialed Technologies here under trial, which you can see here is under trial. And if I go back to the workflows, we'll see several runs. And so we can actually inspect the runs and see this is condition 2 ran. The first one was condition 1 ran. And then the last one was the default condition, which is why we saw the celebration for the confetti. And so that is how you can set up this workflow. And again, this workflow can be customized to run on different statuses, different records, filtering, or different conditions. One thing that I did want to show here, if you did want to have a condition be a little bit more complicated. So for the associated company here, we want this to be associated company or person. You don't want to add another condition here because that's going to by default be, an and condition. So we'll convert this to an advanced filter, which basically just allows us to add these groups. So now we can say, let's create a group where associated company is empty, and we'll say associated person is empty, and we don't want this to be and, we want this to be or. So maybe in this situation, you can say associated company or person is empty. And this essentially is saying you have to have a company and an associated person here. So just wanted to show this functionality with grouping filters. You can do this to create more complex filters. And then you can also add another filter here and say, let's say, I wanted the deal value to also be present. You can turn this into a group here. So deal value is not empty. And I can, take this and change or and I can also convert this to a group, so we can start to build more complex conditions here as well. I'm going to discard those changes because I don't actually want those. And yeah, we're all set. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel. Also leave a comment down below. This helps us know what type of content we should continue to create. If there's any questions, you can feel free to reach out to us or leave those questions in the comments below. We will make sure to reach back out and get any of those answers discussed. And if you have any ideas for future videos, do also feel free to leave those in the comments below. Until next time.